put the kettle on to boil for the washing up, cleared the table, and sat down on the back steps to think. I had many times been flabbergasted in my life, but what I had just heard was one of the most flabbergasting statements that had ever entered my ears. Even my fellow sufferers at the orphanage were more sensitive. Even the nuns, for all their creaky starchiness, were more compassionate. Why was my aunt like this? Had her mother, my grandmother, been just as stiff and unfeeling as she was? Perhaps even my grandmother's mother before that. I felt a stab of compassion for my aunt. After all, she had taken me in after the orphanage had been hit. Where would I be now if she hadn't? But that was a question to which I had no answer. It was impossible to know whether it might have been better or worse. The only way forward was to accept events as they happened and do the best I could with them. To expect anything else was folly. I poured the hot water from the kettle into the washing up bowl and began to wash and then dry the plates and knives and forks. Having put everything away, I went slowly back to my room, still wrapped in thought. Pray and thank God for all my blessings, my aunt had instructed me. Why not? Can't do any harm. I knelt cautiously down on my grazed knees by my bed in the developing dusk, put my hands together in the way the nuns had taught me, and rested my chin thoughtfully on the points of my fingers. I wanted to do this right. How to begin? Dear God. That seems okay. It's respectful, yet affectionate, as is appropriate towards a loving father. Now, what have I to thank him for today? Ah, yes. Dear God, thank you for the meeting with Jenno, even though I don't know what she looks like, and for her advice that helped me to piss higher than I've ever pissed before. Thank you also for Roy's mum and her house that smells so nice. It's pretty good there. I think she must be one of your angels in disguise. But even if she isn't, I still think you must be around there somewhere when I think of the way she got me out of trouble with Mrs. Lark. Yes, I reckon I owe you a lot of thanks for that. While I think of it, thank you for the neat jab that caught Brian on the nose without doing over much damage. After all, he quickly got over it, and we're now friends. All things considered, that was a pretty good little action you did there, and I'm most grateful to you for guiding things so well when it could have turned out extremely badly. Oh yeah, thanks God for the slick lightning. She's a really great little cart, and I think you must have had a big hand in her making. Not perfect, admittedly, but then I can't expect you to do all the work. God helps those who help themselves, so it's up to us to do our bit as well. Thank you, God, for the meeting with the rest of the Lyons Avenue lot. It was especially nice seeing Katie again. Please don't let her parents send her to a private school unless it's really necessary, and please keep her safe from bullies like the slug. Hey, God, do you think you could do something about Tommy's legs? It must be rotten not to be able to walk properly, let alone run. But if you can't, don't worry about it too much, because the rest of us will take care of him. Thank you, dear God, for Lita. I think she likes me because of the way she leaned back against me in the cart. Was that the way the favourite disciple of Jesus leaned back against him at the Last Supper? If so, I understand why he was the favourite. Now, what else have I got to thank you for? Well, I guess there's all that stuff like meals and sunshine and flowers and that great feeling of just being alive. But you offer so much of all that it seems somehow daffy to thank you for it. Well, I thank you for it anyway, because it's super good stuff and I'm really appreciative. But would it be okay with you if we just skip it most of the time and stick to the important big things? Otherwise, we'll never get to the end of the praying. You know, God, and this is kind of difficult, but I suppose I've got to thank you for me being here with my aunt, rather than rotting in a grave with some of the other kids from the orphanage who got killed by the bomb. Since you're God and you know everything, I feel certain that you'll understand when I thank you for something that I'm not at all sure I feel thankful for. Somehow I feel that it's a grudging sort of thanks, almost hypocritical. Do you know what I mean? I'll just have to leave it to you to work it out. I don't feel I can do it on my own. Thanks anyway, even though I'm not quite sure what for. And now, dear God, good night. Tomorrow's Sunday, so see you in church. I stood stiffly up, yawned, started to get into bed, changed my mind and went over to the window instead. It was not fully night, and some people had not yet put up their blackout curtains. I looked out, beyond the bottom of the garden, to the dark mass of the house at the edge of Peppermill Lane. A pinprick of light on the roof showed that somebody was up in the attic room, Jenno's room. "Good night, Jenno," I whispered into the night. "Thanks for your advice that helped me pee over the stick. I'm glad you live just at the bottom of the garden. I wonder what you look like." I got into bed from where I could still see the pinprick of light. It wavered a little. I guessed it was a candle. That little flicker helped me into the comfort of sleep.